Welcome to the video lecture series of digital image processing. Today's topic is second order derivative filters. This topic you are studying in image segmentation. Let me tell you once again what is image segmentation. Image segmentation is partitioning our image into some smaller subregions. That is what the image segmentation is. So in case of image processing, there are various applications, various functions wherever there is a need of the image segmentation. So you need to study how the image can be segmented and what are the techniques over there. So in the case of image segmentation, you must observe some of the discontinuities. There are three types of discontinuities which are actually point discontinuity, line and edges. Edges play a very important role in many of the image processing applications because edges provide what? It provides an outline of the objects, and most of the edges are unique in space because of their position, orientation with respect to the space, when you can observe it from the different points. So here when we are talking about the edge detection, you have studied and I have already discussed in the previous video that there are two kinds of filters. One is the first order and other is the second order filters, which you must study over there. In the case of the first order or the derivative filters, you have studied various types of operators, which is Robert, Prewitt, Sobel, etc. So today I am going to discuss about the second order derivative filters. Let us begin. What is second order derivative filters? See, edges are considered to be present in first derivative. It means whenever you are calculating the magnitude and the edge magnitude is greater than the threshold one, you know how to calculate the first order derivative, how to calculate the second order derivative. So in case of second order derivative, edge is present at that location where the second derivative is 0. This point is important. Where second derivative is 0 means that particular point is looks like as a zero crossing, means it can be observed as a sign change. There could be a variation from positive to negative. While going from positive to negative, there will be a point which is known as a zero crossing, or when you are moving from negative to positive, there must also be a point. It means problem of zero crossing algorithm. This is very important and you must understand this. It means how to define the zero crossing. This can be defined and observed as a sign change in pixel difference. In pixel difference, see, let me give you an example. If you are having the values as 20, 40, then again 20. Here you can see the difference is 20. 40 minus 20 is 20. But in between the second and third pixel, the difference is minus 20. So here you can observe a point which is known as a zero crossing. See, as I have told you, in the first derivative which we have discussed in the previous video lecture, here edges are considered whenever there is a magnitude which is large compared to the threshold value, and this is the case for the second derivative. You can see this particular point is observed as a zero crossing point whenever there is a transition, in this particular case from positive to negative. Now let us discuss the Laplacian operator. You know that till this particular point, Laplacian operator, this is a second order derivative. We have discussed in previous cases as well. So just to revise how this Laplacian mask, this is going to be applied in some of the cases and how to evaluate it. See, Laplacian algorithm is one of the zero crossing algorithm, as I have told you. Laplacian masks are very sensitive to noise because there is no magnitude check. Even a small ripple looks like H. Here there is no like checking of the magnitude. So that is why you are saying that this mask is very sensitive to noise, and for applying Laplacian operator we have to be extra careful. It means image must be filtered first and then edge detection process is applied. So before edge detection process, image must be filtered, must be smoothened out. And what is the advantage of Laplacian operator? That they are rotationally invariant. You must note down each and every point. So these are the advantages of the Laplacian operator. As you know that the second Laplacian is a 2D operator, second order operator, and when we are talking about the image, since image is a two-dimensional function, means there is a involvement of x and y both. In general, we are studying about the 2D images. So how to write down this Laplacian operator, which is the second order operator? This is del square f of xy, del square f upon del x square plus del square f upon del y square. And you have studied about the different Laplacian like mask as well. So if you are writing individual these coefficients, del square f upon del x2, this is what? F of x plus 1 comma y minus twice of the center pixel plus f of x minus 1 comma y. Here you can see the mask, this coefficient is what? This is center pixel value, which you say this is xy, not fxy. This one is x minus 1 comma y, and the right one is x plus 1 comma y. This is how you can write down for the x-axis. So, and when you are writing along the y-axis, the center one will be y, this upward will be x comma y plus 1, and this downward pixel will be x comma y minus 1. So this is how it can be applied, and you can write down both the coefficients individually, and then you can write down the overall Laplacian operator from this particular equation. This you already know, just to revise this. So how to write down this particular algorithm? If you have to apply this algorithm, what are the steps? First, generate the mask, then apply mask and detect the zero crossing point. Zero crossing point means wherever there is a sign change, and a zero crossing is a situation where pixels in the neighborhood differ from each other in sign. See, if you are saying that there are two neighboring pixels P and Q, so in that particular case, what you are going to write? Del square f of P, its magnitude, it must be less than or equal to del square f of Q, its magnitude. So this is how you can represent it. And there are several types of Laplacian mask. Let us discuss few of them. See, in this particular image diagram, you can see there are two Laplacian masks, and both are having the center coefficients as a positive value. Here it's 4, and in the second of it is its value is being given as 8. So how to write down it mathematically? Laplacian for this 3 cross 3 mask is being given over here. So del square f, this is what? For the first mask you can write it as, see the center coefficient, which is the positive one, 4 times z5, its location is z5, minus sum of all these 4 coefficients, z2, 4, 6 and 8. So this is how you can write. And for the second mask, this is for the first mask you have written, and in case of second you can see the center coefficient value, this is 8. So 8 times z5 minus sum of all the remaining coefficients which are available. This is how you can represent it. There are some other types of Laplacian mask which can also be utilized. Just have a look. In first two cases over here, center coefficient values are negative, while in the third one the mask is of the order 5 cross 5. See, is being like shown over here. So this Laplacian mask, it can also be extended up to 7 cross 7, 8 cross 8 accordingly. Now let us discuss some of the more advanced technique for edge detection. Number of variations have been done, and accordingly some advanced operators have been identified. The basic edge detection method, which is based on simple filtering without taking the image characteristics or image attributes or any other information that was done like in a traditional way. But what is going to happen in the advanced technique for the edge detection? Here the overall objective is to improve this simple detection by considering each and every factor into the account, like what is the kind of noise, how the image smoothing is going to be done, what kind of scaling, and how it is going to be impacted on the overall quality. So this is how the more advanced techniques have been developed. Let us discuss the first technique, which is the Laplacian of Gaussian Marr-Hildreth operator. What is this operator? This is actually derived on the basis of the discussion what was happened in between the two persons, Marr and Hildreth, and they have discussed that the intensity of changes, it is not independent of image scale. Means change in intensity must be considered, and sudden intensity change will cause a zero crossing. That is going to be observed in the second derivative. It means an edge detection operator must be capable for tuning to any scale, and it must be capable of computing both first and second derivative. So these 2 points are very important, and on the basis of the discussion this kind of operator is being developed. So here the objective is to minimize the noise susceptibility of Laplacian operator, Laplacian of Gaussian, which is denoted as LOG operator. It is preferred. So you must remember, wherever there is a requirement to minimize the noise, the LOG operator is preferred. But how this LOG operator can be like developed, and how it is going to be like write it down practically, and what is the LOG algorithm? Let us discuss that also. See, the two important steps in the Laplacian of this algorithm, this is actually in the case of the Laplacian of Gaussian algorithm operator, first generate the mask and then apply Laplacian of Gaussian to the image. Then in the second step, detect the zero crossing. This is what the very important is. It means in the first step the given image is blurred using the Gaussian operator. So first image blurring is required, then only Laplacian operator is going to be used. The Gaussian function reduces noise. It means the Laplacian minimizes the detection of false edges. False edges detection is minimized over here. For one dimensional, you can write down the operator as what? Del square f convolution g. This is equal to what? F convolution of del square g. Or you can write it as f convolution LOG, Laplacian of Gaussian. Since we have to understand for two-dimensional, because the images are of two-dimensional nature, so for two-dimensional the Gaussian function can be written as what? This is 1 upon under root 2 pi sigma square exponential x square plus y square upon this term. This is of minus overall term have been written over here. So here now the next step is to minimize noise. It means the images need to be convolved with the Gaussian smoothing function. At the same time, we can neglect this constant, normalization constant value. So to suppress images convolved with Gaussian smoothing, it means now the term will be what? Del of G convolution F, which can be written as what? Del G term convolution with fxy, or Laplacian of Gaussian convolution fxy. So this is what the generalized term which have been written over here. It means now from here you can write down the Laplacian of Gaussian function. What is the Laplacian of Gaussian function? See, del upon del x gxy. This is what? Del upon del x gxy you can write down from this equation number 1 by ignoring the normalization constant which I have told you. So accordingly you are writing into this particular form. So del by del x, when you are differentiating it with respect to the x, then what you are getting over here, 2x upon in the denominator you are also getting 2. That is why this term is what, x upon this e raised to the power. So this is how you can write down when you are taking the derivative with respect to the x. Similarly you can got the value of del upon del y. And finally, what is our objective? Our objective is to calculate the second order derivative. See, when you are writing the second order derivative, del square upon del x square, g of this term, just you have to differentiate one more time, you will be able to get this particular term. Accordingly, differentiate it with respect to the y and find out what the value you are getting over here. Again, you have to ignore this normalization constant as we did in the previous case. Now you are getting the value of del square upon del y square. Just you are differentiating with respect to the y, the second order derivative, you are getting this particular value. So here you can observe that now when you have to write down the Laplacian of Gaussian kernel, how to write it down? Sum of these two terms, del square upon del x square plus del square upon del y square, both the differentiation with respect to the x and y. So this is how you can write down this particular term, and here you can find out the wider the convolution mask is required if the value of this particular coordinate varies. This particular value varies, increases, then wider convolution mask is required to achieve better performance of the edge operator. You must remember it. Let us discuss the another type of advanced technique for edge detection, which is the difference of Gaussian filter, DOG filter. See, LOG filter can be approximated by taking two differently sized Gaussian. So here DOG filter can be written as, if we have taken first the Gaussian width of this particular term. So if sigma 1 is being taken for the first this thing, then you can write down the difference of Gaussian DOG G sigma 1 xy is what? The same term, you know. Now let us take the another value, width of the Gaussian, if it is changed, and now if this is sigma 2, so this particular term can be written as what? G sigma 2 x comma y. The same term, in place of sigma 1 you have written sigma 2. Here the Gaussian width is sigma 2. Now since you have to write down the DOG, which is expressed as what? As the difference between these two, G of sigma 1 minus G of sigma 2. So this is what you have written this into this particular form, G of sigma 1 minus G of sigma 2 convolution with fxy, and this difference of G sigma 1 minus G sigma 2, this particular difference, this is what? DOG, difference of the Gaussian filter. Now DOG as a kernel, how to write it down? This is the difference term, you know. This is how G of sigma 1 minus G of sigma 2, this is what DOG. This is nothing but 1 upon under root 2 pi, which was the normalization constant. But here the value of sigma is varying. Sigma 1 for the first case, sigma 2 for the second case, and the rest of the values are same. It means the given image has to be convolved with a mask, that particular, and that mask is obtained by subtracting two Gaussian masks with two different values. One is with sigma 1, other is with sigma 2. In case if the value, this ratio of sigma 1 upon sigma 2, this is in between 1 and 2, then the edge detection operator gives a good performance. So the performance will be good over here. Now what is the algorithm? So this particular algorithm can be understood in this manner. First generate the mask, apply DOG, then detect the zero crossing and apply threshold. Means somewhere you have to check whether that particular value which you are getting, that is more than the threshold value or less than the. Accordingly you are getting the point. Then display and exit from that particular program. So this is what the DOG algorithm. This algorithm is also very important. Now let us discuss the most important, canny edge detection. This is commonly used in a number of applications. So the canny edge approach, it is based on optimizing the trade-off between performance criteria. And what are the performance criteria that we are going to discuss? So canny edge detection algorithm was developed by John F. Canny in 1986, and it is a edge detection operator which uses multi-stage algorithm, and it is very efficient to detect wide range of edges in the images. Wide range of edges. Different behavior of edges can be observed with the help of this particular algorithm. So here, as I have told you, this approach is based on optimizing the trade-off. What are the various factors which you need to understand? First is the good edge detection. What do you mean by good edge detection? It means it must be capable to detect only real edge points and discard all false edge points. Sometimes some of the behavior in the image can be visualized as the edge point, but actually that will not be in actual. It means good edge detection. Second is good edge localization. It means it should have the ability to produce edge points which are close to real edges. This is the meaning of the actually localization. And only one response to each edge. In some of the cases, you can observe that with respect to a single edge, various responses can be observed, and that will gives you some false understanding or the false interpretation of the data in the image analysis. It means only one response is required, and this is the beauty of the canny edge detection algorithm. So you must remember all of these points. Now let us discuss canny edge detection algorithm, how it is going to be applied and how to understand it. Step 1, you can understand the whole algorithm in 3 steps. Step 1, convolve the image, and this convolution is done with the help of Gaussian filter. Then compute the gradient of resultant image. After the application of the Gaussian filter, we are getting the smoothen image. So compute the gradient and store each magnitude and each orientation into separate arrays. One array is for the magnitude and other is for the orientation. See, smoothing image and computing coefficients, you know, this is convolving the image with Gaussian filter. I is the original image, S is the resultant you are getting, and this is the Gaussian mask, and then you are calculating the values of gradient and magnitude and edge. This is the magnitude you are computing, square root of sx square plus sy square, and this is the way you are calculating the edge orientation. Theta is what? Tan inverse sy upon sx. You are already aware, that is why I am taking it on a fast note. Now, the second step, this is a very important, which is thinning of edges by a process, and this process is known as non-maxima suppression. This process is very important. See, what is going to be happen over here? So in the case of the very intense computation and when you have to be very much careful, then the gradient direction is reduced to just 4 sectors, and finally it is going to the overall range, which is in between 0 to 360 degree. It is divided into 8 equal portions. You can see it is being divided into 8 equal portions, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So it is being divided, and 2 equal portions are designated as one sector, like 0 and 1 is is being designated as one sector. It means in general there will be 4 sectors. Then gradient direction of each edge point is approximated to one of the sectors. And once it is finalized, you can assume the different points at the neighbors and the neighboring points which are falling on the same gradient directions can be considered. See, in this particular diagram, you can see x1, y1, x dash, y dash and x double dash, y double. These are the neighbors. Neighbors or what? Neighbors of xy. It means you can calculate delta S along the direction which is normal to the edge. You can calculate it. Now you can calculate the magnitudes. Mxy is what? You can calculate on the basis of the delta S, x dash, y dash and x double dash, y double dash. If it is greater than both the points, then it can be considered as an edge, otherwise it is 0. Means otherwise the value, it means the value is suppressed and can be maintained and can be detected. So this is how non-maxima suppressions operation is being performed. Means from this particular 0, if the magnitudes are not like accordingly, then that particular value is suppressed. Step number 3, where you have to apply hysteresis thresholding. What do you mean by this hysteresis thresholding? It means only a large amount of change in gradient magnitude is important for us. It is matters in the case of the edge detection. While if there is small changes, that they are not going to affect the quality of the edge detection. And in this particular case, we can consider 2 levels of the threshold. As you can see in this particular case, if the threshold are considered as, let us say, T0 for low and T1 for high, on x-axis these values have been taken, along the y-axis these gradient magnitudes have been taken over here. So here you can explain it in a manner like, if the gradient at a pixel is above high, means it is lying in this particular portion 1, then it can be declared as a edge pixel. If the gradient at a pixel is below low, means below T0, like if it is in this particular region where I have marked this point 2, it can be declared as a non-edge pixel. Means if it is greater than T1, there is a edge pixel. If it is less than T0, there is a non-edge pixel. Now the third condition, which is very important, if the gradient, read out this particular point very carefully, if the gradient at a pixel is between low and high, means in between low and high, T0 and T1, means in this third region, then declare it at edge pixel if and only if it is connected to an edge pixel directly or via pixels between low and high, between T0 and T1. If it is connected directly or via any of the pixels. So this is how Canny edge detection algorithm can be applied over there. And the results which we are obtaining, which we are getting from this Canny edge detection, these results are going to be gives you the very informative information in the case of the image extraction or whenever you are performing image segmentation. Topic for the next video lecture is Hot transform and shape detection. Thank you so much for watching this video.